Welcome to our podcast. You're listening to All Night by Ikeson at www.ikesonmusic.com. Okay. Welcome to Why Complain When You Can Whine, making sense of the senseless. Three professional women attempting to make sense of toxic nonsense while drinking wine. I'm Dr. Jody Larman, licensed clinical psychologist in the state of California. Therefore, I must make this disclaimer that anything and everything we talk about is purely for psychoeducational and entertainment purposes only. There is no therapy or therapeutic relationship given or implied. On that note, it's time for the wine. So I'm gonna move right into the wine. Right. And this is, I think, Ashley, you're gonna like this. This is J. Lore. It is a Chardonnay. Ooh. I have a Chardonnay today. I'm going white because white wines matter too.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, all inclusive here. And my glass, even though this is going to be posted after, most likely, my glass says, "'Tis the season to get tipsy." Which, I mean, even though it's green and red, it's always the season to get tipsy.
Always the season to get tipsy.
Yep.
I need a wine glass that says that.
There's got to be one somewhere.
Oh my God, Jody, that was like just the line of the fucking century.
White wines matter. Heather? Oh, it smells good.
Okay, hi, I'm Heather. I'm a licensed professional counselor in Denver, Colorado, domestic violence survivor. I'm finishing up. I'm like crying. That was so funny. I'm finishing up this Spanish wine, this Ultramon that I think I had a few weeks ago, but I haven't finished it yet. And I just have like a basic crystal fancy glass today.
That's pretty.
A basic crystal fancy glass.
That is not basic.
It's not basic at all, but
yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Lovely. Fuck, Jody.
Seriously. And it's like the way you said it too, right? It was just like so nonchalant, like, yeah, white wines matter too, bitch. Like,
oh my God. I am Ashley Page, founder of Loving Single, domestic violence survivor, single mom. Tonight I am drinking strawberry honey. It's a mead from our local distillery.
Ooh, pretty.
Because pink wines matter, I guess. And I'm drinking from it's like holiday-ish.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
It makes drinking almost the whole bottle feel natural.
It should feel natural. It is
so large.
And I was saying you can't see it either. Cheers.
Cheers.
Can you see it? Oh yeah, you can. Oh,
that's good.
Oh, I needed that.
Oh my God, today.
Yes.
I have to apologize in advance. I am getting over being sick. Wasn't COVID. Don't think it was the flu or RSV. And like hell was I going to go to the doctor with full of sick people just to get tested to find out what it was to take the same medication anyways. I did test for COVID. Wasn't COVID, but I'm left with this god awful cough that cough drops and wine don't mix. So I swallowed the cough drop really fast so that I could drink my wine because that is way more important. But yes, I will try to move away from the mic and all of that when I have a coughing fit. So I apologize ahead of time.
You're
just throwing that out there with my white wine.
Matters.
Matters.
All wines matter.
Oh my God. Oh,
So, shall we talk about this isn't necessarily, yes, it is toxic. I take that back. I was going to say this isn't necessarily toxic, but it is toxic. This time of year, being the holidays and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and for a vast majority of people, it is all about food and eating or lack thereof, depending on which side you're on. And I know the three of us were talking because I happened to mention, I had a Friendsgiving, and I have like had eating disorders since, and body image issues since puberty. And on Friendsgiving, I was just beside myself of disgust for eating or not eating. And this time of year, I know any time of year for me is difficult, but this time of year especially, because it's all about food.
Agreed.
And cookies and sweet. I'm not a big sweets eater, thank goodness.
Neither.
I am a savory. Give me French fries. Bury me in French fries and I will eat my way out. No
Crackers.
problem. No problem.
Salty food.
Yeah. When I was pregnant with my son, I went through, thank God it only lasted 2 weeks, but I went through a French fry. I was a French fry freak. Like I would drive out of my way, anywhere, anytime. I was like at midnight going through the drive-through of McDonald's to get their giant supersized biggest fries they had. And then just like,
Yeah.
and then you
They're
have
good
that
fries.
coating of grease from the fries that you can't get out of your mouth for about 4 days. But thankfully that part only lasted for about 2 weeks. But I know being pregnant for me was really, really difficult. I don't have pictures of me pregnant. And part of that is because I was by myself.
Right.
I asked someone to take a picture of me. I asked my uncle one time, we were together, and he took a picture like from here up.
Yeah.
It was 20 years ago. We didn't do selfies like we do now. So I don't have pictures of me. I have one picture that was taken. I got pregnant in August. It was taken Thanksgiving, and someone saw it and said, "Oh, look, Jody's heavy. How funny." And I looked at her and I said, I'm pregnant. And she's like, "Oh, okay." But
God,
that's
and
the only picture.
women are the ones who like, I feel like we struggle so much with it. And we can also be the biggest bitches about it too. And it just like goes to show like each other's like insecurities and projection. Like like she is insecure with that, which is why it made her feel good to be like, Jody's big. Like,
Yep.
God.
Oh yeah, she used to call me a skinny fucking bitch, and I'm like, okay, you're not hurting my feelings at all whatsoever. I, as a matter of fact, love that. But I was going to, I went to American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I wanted to be a singer who acted. And then I met my husband, who wasn't into all of that, and love won over, and I went to school and became a psychologist. But I think about it now, and I'm actually really, really grateful that I didn't do it, because I think it would have killed me. And I mean that literally, as far as the body image issues. I used to do commercials and commercial workshop stuff. And we had one day, I lived by myself. I was 21. My parents bought me a refrigerator because they said, "What can we do?" I said, "Buy me a refrigerator." So I got the biggest refrigerator, and all I kept in there was ketchup and mustard. My dad would come over and be like, "We bought you the biggest refrigerator for ketchup and mustard." I'm like, well, one day maybe there'll be food in there when I have kids. But I still have the refrigerator too. It's in my other room. But anyways, I every day be at this workshop, and the food truck would come, and I would get a hard-boiled egg and throw the yolk away and eat the white. And that's all I would eat all day, all night. That was all I would eat. And the instructor was this older lady, probably at the time, I'd say 60s. And she would be eating cupcakes and ding dongs and all sorts of junk. every time I saw her, and she was skinny. Well, we had a critique, and it was the big critique where they were supposed to critique our acting. They'd put up our screen, whatever thing that we did, our audition, and then critique it. And when it came to mine, God, I remember I was like 21, and I remember this like it was yesterday. They said nothing about my acting. They said, you know, you can lose weight in your upper arms and upper thighs.
That's
And
exactly why I stopped doing it too.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I stopped doing it. I could not live with that.
I was mortified. And then the whole class starts chiming in on ways that I can lose weight. And I was somebody
Oh
that I
my
had a
God, are
rowing machine
you
at home.
serious?
Yep. And every bite of food that I took, I would work out for 20 minutes for every bite of food.
That industry is toxic as fuck.
Oh,
like,
Well, I feel
both
like
sides,
you
Hollywood
either
and Broadway. Fucking
But I feel
totally
like
under
you
stuff.
have to either be like super, super obnoxiously skinny. I mean, we've all heard what they're talking about nowadays. Like the new body trend that's in is heroin chic.
again,
I don't know if that's what they called it now. This time was heroin chic.
Yeah.
But I feel like you either have to be that or you have to be really like obese. Like there's no middle ground. It is one or the other. Like in order for them to not criticize your weight, you have to be like very, very, very overweight or deathly skinny.
Mhm.
It's like they don't normalize normal, healthy, regular bodies.
Yep.
I thought we were moving more toward that because I'm seeing commercials and things with heavier women.
Like the Dove campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that's been around for a minute. I think they were like the first ones to start using plus size women in their.
And they got criticized and ripped apart when they first started it. Because, I mean, it's sad to say, when we do see heavy people, even if we try to be body positive, we see the commercials and we see heavier people. At first, it's kind of a little taken aback because we're not used to it. But the more I see it, and the more I see it, and the more I see it, it's
normal.
That normalizes it more to me.
Well,
Yeah.
are you saying in the media, like in Hollywood? Or just
What do you
in
mean?
general? Like you're not used to seeing overweight people in life in general?
Oh, no. On TV and Hollywood.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
I was racking my brain and I was like, well, she does live in California.
You do live in a culture of eating disorders over there. You sure do.
Yeah. But it's amazing to me, though. I don't know why it's so amazing to me how prevalent it is.
And
I mean,
you know, it's really crazy. It's prevalent really only in the fucking United States. Like it's like primarily this country's problem. So it's very much a cultural issue.
But it's really sad because even talking to the two of you and my saying it and then Ashley saying, oh, I totally know what you're talking about. And then telling my camera is drunk.
Totally. I was like, your camera got into the wine.
My camera is like, we're blurring you out now. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I don't know what that was. Maybe my camera doesn't like white wine. I'm so sorry. But
racist ass camera.
But you know, when you said that to me, I'm like, but why? You're fine. You know, and I hear from people and I think, but why? You're fine. And I'm like, I'm not fine. You're fine. And I'll look at, you know, like your TikToks or your hula hoop video. And I'm thinking, why do you think you have any kind of a problem? Have you not seen me? That's how warped and twisted, because I'm sure other people feel the same way. Well, I'm not sure, but I imagine. But it surprises me because I feel like, why do you guys have a problem? You guys look fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have a problem because I think women in particular were socialized to have this problem of having a problem with ourselves all the time. Being like super overcritical, over judgmental of ourselves, always striving to be perfect little women, and being told that that's what we had to do by friends, by media, by society, that there's a way we're supposed to look. Men don't get that shoved down their throats as much, I don't think, as we do.
I know when I was again in my 20s, I was told by guys, because these things, you don't forget these things. I was told, God, you look so much better if you lost like 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm. The
I
pretty,
remember when a guy asked me if I was pregnant.
face. Oh my God.
Yep, this guy asked me, I was 17. I was a lot bigger, like my junior and senior year in high school. I was chunky because I was on birth control, Prozac, and things that just caused weight gain. And so I don't know. I was wearing an outfit too that wasn't super flattering, but yeah, he asked if I was pregnant. I was like, dude, I'm 17, and no, I'm not. But thanks. So that sticks with people. That sticks with people. So now my target area all the time is my gut, right? Like everything here, I'm like, do I look pregnant? Do I look pregnant? Do I look pregnant in this? Because I have no boobs, y'all. I know. But they're great anyway. But I'm one of those people that's like, if I sit down, my stomach might stick out more than my boobs do. And it like mortifies me because I'm like, do I look pregnant? What is going on here? So that's ever since then, that's been programmed in me that was a problem. And now it's programmed in me that I also have no ass. So like now I'm like, well, now I need more ass, more
like
boobs,
if I stuck it in
everything
and push it out the other end.
Yeah.
Suck it
In the meantime, everyone's like, you're intimidatingly gorgeous. And I'm like, you're lying. You're lying to me. And it's like, and Ashley has said this too. Like, could tell Ashley like she's the most intimidatingly gorgeous person. I've even told her that, and she's like, you're a liar. Like we are programmed to not believe what other people see. Like instead of believing that other people like and seeing us the way other people fucking see us.
I know when I was in middle school, I was only like 11 years old and puberty hadn't hit yet. I was the shortest, I was the youngest, I was the smartest. No, I probably thought I was, but so I was literally the most hated person in 7th grade. I was bullied. People wanted to fight me. And instead of, see, back then, bullying also was just your school, just your neighborhood. We didn't have the internet, so it wasn't freaking worldwide. You'd go home and the bullying would stop. But I was the type of person that, what did I do being bullied? I ran for student government. I put up posters. I got up in the assembly. I made a speech. I got booed. I'm probably the only one that voted for me, but I did it.
Whatever.
I probably was. But then by 8th grade, I was coming into my own, and my parents had said, did you want to go to a new school? I'm like, no, fuck these people. And by 9th grade, I freaking owned the school. I mean, not really figuratively, but I would be like, bitch, this is what you did to me in 7th grade. And now puberty hit. But I remember my yearbook, they would call me fatty. They signed it fatty, prego, stuff like that. And I see pictures now and I'm like, but I wasn't. It was baby fat.
I wasn't either really, but one guy called me pregnant and I thought I was obese. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, the thing that we struggle with is the knowing that men are driven by visual stimulation, and there's this mutual understanding with men that women are driven by emotional stimulation and like intelligence and like humor. And so I've talked to so many men where they've said to me, like, they've got this like, and listen, I've dated men with like a beer belly and like, like overweight, and like Like I dated one man that
Receding
was like,
hairline.
yeah,
and-
balding and like, or one man
All
who
of
was really, really overweight and he looked like Biggie Smalls. And like, I just thought it was sexy as fuck. And like, he was like 6'5" and like, I
Yes.
was like a big chocolate teddy bear is what I called him. And like, but there was this, they would say things like, the really the only things that I have to exercise and maintain like is my personality. Cause y'all, I can grab, as long as I'm funny and I'm kind, I can nab the hottest women. And so that like they, and for us, we're just like, I remember saying that to my ex. I was like, man, that must be so nice. Like,
right.
just got to work on my sense of humor. And I'm over here like binging and then throwing up in my bathroom until like my throat is on fire and like laying on my bathroom floor because the tile is cold and my stomach is so full that I can't like breathe barely. And in order to just try and like convince a man that I'm worthy of being chosen, because my God, if I'm any kind of overweight or fucking dare I be a size 8, 10 and considered plus size, like I'm now worth nothing.
Yeah.
I'm unworthy of having a man or love or a career or anything.
That brings me to a Facebook comment I saw today. Some toxic ass fucker on Facebook posts this shit that says like, guys, if a woman refuses to send you pictures, it's because she thinks she's ugly, and so you should too. And I was like, and like, so I had to go look at the comments, right? And I was like, the women were like, no, it's because we're not here for your fucking entertainment, and we know our worth, and we're not just like giving pictures away. You have to earn that shit, which I echoed. And under my comment, he was like, no, and like had laughed at my comment or whatever. And I was like, he just called me ugly. So I went down and I like laughed at his comment and I just went, okay. And then this mind fucker goes and like likes all of my profile pictures. Yeah. Like it was like really gross, a big old mind fuck. But like the way people treat each other on social media is a whole other toxic conversation.
Oh God.
But like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? So like that stuff will stick with people. Like you just like, I don't even know you, dude, and you basically just called me ugly.
Yeah, see, that's what the thing too is, that social media makes it that much worse because people are so, I mean, in real life, people can be rude, but in front of or behind a computer keyboard,
I got balls
holy
now.
fuck.
I won't say that shit to my face.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I
Like
remember.
I did a video, someone said, made a comment because we were talking about gaslighting. They said something wasn't gaslighting. And I said, no, what you're doing right now is gaslighting. By telling people, I'm not gaslighting you, you're actually gaslighting them. And they said, it's a clinical term, idiot.
Oh, I saw that video.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm a fucking psychologist. Idiot. I mean, I didn't say that, but I'm like, this person knows I'm a psychologist too, because I had mentioned in the beginning, because someone asked me to comment. But I'm just like, why? What is the point? What, you don't have to be rude. That's what I don't understand. The viciousness of people nowadays, because they can hide behind a keyboard, because they can hide behind the screen and you don't have to see or know what they look like. So they're free to take out,
and they can project all of their
bullshit.
own insecurities onto everybody else.
Yeah.
It's gross. It's disgusting, really. And like,
but I know, like, for me, one of the things that was really difficult as far as having an eating disorder is that people didn't believe me. When I finally said something, I wasn't believed. I was turning 21 and my birthday was like on a Friday or whatever. So I wasn't going to eat all week so that I could eat on my birthday. And I went to, I think it was a psychiatrist. And this might be where my disgust of psychiatrists started. Because I said, I don't eat. And he said, okay, write down. I want you to tell me everything that you ate today. And I said, I ate grapes. And he goes, and what else? Grapes. And he goes, what did you eat yesterday? Ketchup and mustard. He's like, no, you must be eating more. You have to be eating more because I'm not stick thin. I'm average, normal, whatever. And I said, no, I am not. That is why I'm here, because I'm not. I don't binge. I purge. I don't binge. And I said, for my birthday, I am not eating all week. And he said, well, if that's what you think you need to do. And I was like, oh my God, I know that that's not what I should do. That's why I'm here. But he didn't believe me. I called my own doctor and I was like, I cannot lose weight no matter what I do. I am not eating. And actually, the more I started eating, then I was losing, but I was at that point of exercising so much that it wasn't doing anything. And, he's like, well, your BMI is fine. I don't care.
Mine was too, and my hair was falling out and I wasn't having periods.
I
was fine.
Yeah. I used to take liquid ivory soap and try to make myself vomit. And I couldn't vomit that way. So I started buying boxes of laxatives and taking a half a box of laxatives at a time. And the only person I ever told initially was my husband, because I said, I can't keep doing this. And so he would hide the laxatives, but then I would just go buy more. And one time I had ulcerative colitis, and the doctor said, you need to take a spoonful of mineral oil every day. Okay, that stuff is nasty, but that stuff is also a laxative. So what did I do? If a spoonful is good,
Yeah.
You can't go out of the house because you will shit your pants and not know it. But everything goes right through. So I had to literally say, I can't do this.
Well, and the stigma too is like, that's what I was going to say is, the stigma too around people who are overweight. Like I was very overweight at my heavy, and like, I wasn't like 300, 400 pounds. I was on my way there. And the only reason I wasn't is because I was bulimic. But at my heaviest, I was 250 and I'm 5'4". That's a lot of weight for 5'4". And I had horrible eating disorders because I would literally do that. I would eat until I felt like food was here. And then I would go and lay on my bathroom floor because it was cold. And I just needed to resist like pressure against my stomach because it hurt so bad. And then I would be in there throwing up for hours because I was like, I have to get every single last morsel out of my body, punishing myself. And then I would have tea like this. I got this special tea from the health food store. And it would say like 1 teaspoon. I'd have like 4 tablespoons and like
flush everything out.
But the thing is like in society, people think that an eating disorder is anorexia, where your skin is turning gray and you weigh like 85, 90 pounds and you can see your bones. And like, so when someone is overweight and they're like, I have an eating disorder, they're like, no, you fucking don't.
Yeah, you
stop
overeat.
eating. Maybe if you stop eating, then you won't have an eating disorder. And I'm like, thank you for invalidating me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that you're exactly right. Unless you are weak, heroin chic, skin and bones, and you're sipping on a celery stick for your sustenance, they don't think you have an eating disorder if you either look normal or you're overweight.
Yeah, I was just called a fat ass. That's what I was called. Stop fucking eating, you pig. Like, it wasn't that like I had an eating disorder. It wasn't that I people are concerned about, alcoholics or drug addicts, but then like people who use food as their drug, it's just like, stop eating then, you cow.
Yeah.
Like that's the shit that I was told.
For my master's
Drug
degree,
addicts get that message too, unfortunately.
yeah. For my master's degree, we had to go to some kind of an AA type program. They wanted us to go to get a feel for it, to see what it's like. So I went to Overeaters Anonymous, the anorexic bulimic one. And I sat there and it literally triggered me because all these people would talk about was how much they ate and then threw up. And I would sit there thinking, I don't even eat. I don't even eat. Like I binged on carrots and then I took a half a box of laxatives because I ate too many carrots. So it was worse for me to go to that because they were all talking about how they ate, they threw up, they ate, they threw up. And I'm like, I don't even eat. I don't even eat. I mix up ketchup and mustard and that's what I eat. Like literally.
When I was looking for an internship before I landed myself in criminal justice, I wanted to work with adolescent females. And then I decided that wasn't what I want to do. I had an interview with the Eating Recovery Center, which is a local eating disorder center in Denver. And that experience for me, because they have their partial hospitalization program there, and then they have outpatient program too. So I was going to be in their partial hospitalization program. So people with very, very near death anorexia were there, walking with canes and in wheelchairs and looked like very literal skeletons. And the woman that I was interviewing with was kind of telling me like what happens on that unit and how they all have to eat together, and that they have all these tricks like of hiding food in their boots and like scraping salad dressing off onto their lips so they can wipe it off with their napkins and just eat so like she was telling me all that. And then I got to meet some of the patients there and my heart was so broken for these women. That like I think it was at that moment because I was really struggling too with just constantly obsessing over food, and I was like, I have to like, this has to stop. This is madness. Like these women like that have feeding tubes and shit. That's like the most heartbreaking shit I've ever seen in my life. How deathly it is.
I was going to get my degree, my PhD with eating disorders, but then someone talked me out of it, a few people, because they said, if you get super specific with your degree, then you can't like get it in clinical and then you could do eating disorders. But if you just get it in with eating disorders, then you're kind of stuck. And I'm glad I didn't, because even now I work with clients, and I will say in the LGBTQ community, especially in the gay community, body image, all of that, it's just like with women, it's just as bad. But when I'm talking to them, it's like, I believe the stuff that I say, I just can't do it myself, if that makes any sense. Like I was at a psychologist when I went to therapy after I left my ex, and I went to therapy and I said, God, now I'm going to have to meet someone again. And I'm kind of like, I'm mushy. I work out all the time.
All the fucking time.
Like all the time.
Yeah, this woman works out every day. It makes me feel like a lazy bitch all the time.
But you can't tell. But so I said, I said, yeah, but I'm mushy. And he goes, you think you have body dysmorphia? I think you have body dysmorphia. And I said, body dysmorphia-ish, because it's true. And he's like,
a little bit of denial.
Body dysmorphia. And I said, no, but when it's true, it's body dysmorphia.
That's what we all say though, ish, Jody.
Ish, yeah.
They're like, you have body dysmorphia. And I'm like, no, I don't. I look like a whale.
Yeah, if
I'm
it's
being
true,
honest.
it's not like it's.
And then they're like, no, you don't. And I'm like, don't tell me how I look. I live in this body. I know what I look like.
Yeah,
your eyes are wrong.
Yeah, clearly you're not, like, you're the one with the problem.
Who are you gonna believe, me or
You're
your
the delusional
eyes,
one.
right? But yeah, I've been told I've had body dysmorphia forever. And within the past couple of months, because I was talking to a client and I literally went over all of the criteria for body dysmorphia. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, this kind of hits home. Like, I think I need to admit that, yeah, everybody else is right, but I still don't believe it. I believe my fucking bathroom mirror lies to me, because I will look fine. And then the minute someone takes a picture, my mirror fucking lied. Like, I did not look like that. I thought I looked okay. See, that's the thing. It's
Pictures
like
are lies.
yeah,
Cameras
Pictures
are lies.
the liars.
when
Cameras
people
are
say
lies.
to you, Ashley, you look fine. You look fine. It's like, no, I saw the picture. I thought I looked fine. I thought I looked fine in my mirror, went down and took the picture, and I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Well, and that's
So-
the thing too, is like, you want to get real technical with it. I'm like, fine. When
What's
you ask a woman how she's doing and she goes, I'm fine. What does that mean? She's not fucking fine. So don't
That
tell
means
me
you're
I'm
neurotic and
fine,
emotional.
because I know you're lying straight to my motherfucking face. And I will tell you, my body dysmorphia has never been as bad as when I did a bodybuilding bikini competition, because I was at, what was I? I was at like 100. Ironically, I was like right around 190 pounds when I started. And we all know the significance of 190. And
it was all in your bottom, right?
yeah. And when I started, I was at like 40, I think I was 44% body fat. And in 16 weeks, I went from 190, 16 weeks to 128 to get ready for that show. And I'll tell you what, the body dysmorphia I had and the way that my body freaked the fuck out, because my brain couldn't catch up with how quickly my body was changing, because I went on this crazy diet that my coach had written for me. I was working out like 3 hours a day. Like, it was not the healthy way to do it. Not to mention, I was losing weight so fast that my skin wasn't retracting
Toning, yeah.
like properly. And so it was just like this loose skin. And then the day after my show, like, no, the night that my show ended, I like started eating nuts, because I didn't have fat for like 3 weeks, and it literally made my brain stupid. And within 3 days, I had gained 30 pounds. So I went from 190 to 128 in 14 weeks. And then in 3 days, I went from 128 to 158. And my skin turned to like crocodile skin. It was like breaking. You could see like squares, patches of skin that like, it was like stretching my skin. Oh my God. The mental mind fuck that I went through during that. It was one of the dumbest. I should have, like, I wish if I could go back, I would never compete. I would have never competed, because that made my eating disorder worse, because I went from binging and purging to being obsessed with calorie intake, and then knowing how to lose the weight with just like chicken and broccoli, and then counting calories, and then being addicted to exercise.
Yep.
And so then I was using my binging and purging when I was stressed. And then I was using my punishment of like starvation and exercise to like try and force results on my body. Fuck.
Do you all remember, maybe some of our listeners do, but years ago, I think they're long gone now, there were these websites called Pro-Ana websites that were a community, a movement of people that were pro anorexia,
Oh God.
or pro eating disorder.
What?
Oh my
And
God.
I know, I checked, I think I was in college, so late 2000s, and like fucking on these websites had all of the tips and tricks on how to starve yourself to death, essentially. And they were really controversial. And at the time, like the internet is still a lawless place, but like these websites were up there for adults and children to visit and see and get all this information from all of these people that called themselves pro Anna. Yeah, it was
That's
interesting.
wild.
I'm sure they're long gone, but yeah, I remember that in college
What
and
the
I
fuck
was
is going on with
mortified.
my camera?
Yeah, I was
Seriously.
mortified by that.
Maybe, hang on, maybe I need to turn the light on. Maybe it's just not adjusting to this darkness. I don't know.
That,
Right.
well,
But-
that's crazy because I've never even heard of that. I've never
Yeah.
heard of Pro Anna.
It was a thing. It was a thing. I think it was a very short-lived thing. Or
It's
maybe
probably
it still exists.
still
It was just
around.
short-lived. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's around and not around in some form, some off the
Yeah.
wall form.
There's
or
always
another.
something that's pro-illness.
But you know
know,
what you're
self-aware
talking about also
narcissist.
actually reminds me of, I think it was, I want to say it was Zac Efron for Baywatch went on some crazy fucking shit like you had to do to get ready for the movie. And he said, never again.
No.
It fucked with his head, his
So
mind,
bad.
his body.
Yeah.
My
And that's-
brother was married to a bodybuilder. She competed in like Arnold competitions or whatever, you know, the Arnold, like she was like
Yeah. the
bluff
Arnolds.
bodybuilder. And she right before she would compete, she had to do these fucking crazy, ridiculous
Mhm.
diets too, where she would just live on tilapia and like
Green
asparagus.
yeah, or
yeah,
yeah,
something like that.
or
for
green
weeks.
beans. Yeah.
So her like veins would pop out more or whatever, like whatever
Yeah.
the purpose of that was. It was so very, it was sick. It was like really, it's an illness to me. Like these are people, my brother,
It
we met
is.
her in recovery. They were in
Yeah.
recovery from addiction, from alcoholism and drugs. And they just switched over to this exercise addiction, this bodybuilding thing, this like,
Yep.
and the obsessiveness and the addiction piece and the rush you get from that also from like the endorphins and everything from working out. They were
Oh, yeah.
super high on that to the degree that she was really like, I mean, she was winning competitions and like I saw at her wedding, I was like, God, like there's not like it's like the most perfect sculpted. It's too muscular for me. Like I think it's, I don't know, but like it was madness, the diets that she had. And she would come to like Thanksgiving
With their
and
meals.
Christmas with her little pre-made meals of whatever. And I just was like, it was like there's a line, right? There's discipline and then there's obsession and like addiction, really.
Yeah.
To that
It
kind of
for
like
sure is because what ends up happening, my dad's a bodybuilder too. But what ends up happening is you reach a certain peak with your physique. And then you can't maintain that for more than a day. Literally, you can't. Like when you're when in order to get that, it's called it's vascular in bodybuilding when your veins are popping and everything. And in order for like, you have to cut water and then introduce like carbs in order to puff your muscles up and like make them like if I showed you guys my picture of the day I competed, you can quite literally see every single rib I have. And like, it's just crazy. But the thing is like you get so obsessed with literally punishing your like literally punishing yourself, and then the discipline, the willpower, the pain of it all, and like the transformation and how quickly you're changing. And it's like becomes this like mental mind game with yourself. And then you do your show, and then you do what's called a reverse diet, and then you go pig out on cheeseburgers and you get like salt and like fat back into you, and then you start training for another show. And then like every show you do, you build up your muscle maturity. But the problem with it is no matter how good you look, it's not good enough. Never good enough. Like your biceps aren't big enough, your butt's not big enough. And then the thing that's wrong with that the most is what killed me is you're literally signing up to stand on stage, with
And
15 other women in bikinis, and you're saying, please judge me on my body and my genetics that I have zero control over. And then you
as
get
I'm
all
killing myself.
and then you get all
Literally.
this fucking feedback on your stomach's too puffy, your butt's too big. Like for me, I was too muscular, my butt was too big, my legs were too. I was like, I'm in a fucking bikini. Isn't that what you want? Is a freaking Coke bottle? Like, no, we want like a skinny freaking, like, we just want super lean muscle. You're too muscular. And like, so then you kill yourself and go, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. And you look like you're in the best shape of your fucking life. And because 5 judges said you didn't look good enough, now you're going to go and have 10 times more discipline. And when your coach tells you to eat 6 ounces of tilapia, now you're going to eat 4 ounces of tilapia because you didn't get your trophy. It's
Yeah.
But
sick.
also your veins are popping out incorrectly on your arm. We like it to look like this, but yours look like that.
That's madness.
and
I
it's
just-
Crazy.
And that's
really
why I'm
bad.
afraid to go back to it. Like like since I was in not bodybuilding, but since I was in my 20s and was obsessed with exercising and working out and like losing weight and lost too much and lost hair and like to the point where I was malnourished and in the doctor's office, like, what's wrong with me? They're like, bitch, you need to eat more calories. You're starving yourself to death. And I listened and I did, and I kind of stopped obsessing and found something else to obsess over. And like and I'm like, well, I need to find something else to obsess over. It was probably a dude that I was fixing because that's my other thing. And like so,
The next thing we run to, that's the next thing we go to.
that was that. I was like, well, I'm not gonna fix myself anymore because I'm not good at that. I'll go fix somebody else. So I was probably doing that. And I've always been like, I'm afraid to go back to diet and exercise because I know in my soul that I obsess. Like I take it from discipline to obsession to addiction. And I'm like, I'm not sure how to like balance that to stay like disciplined and just be healthy, you know? Like I'm just doing this because it's the fucking healthy thing to do for my body instead of this obsessed with how my body looks every fucking second of every fucking day. I don't know how to do that. Like,
well, because
so I just don't do anything.
I have so many people that ask me, why is it so hard with food? I quit smoking or I quit drinking, but why is food so hard? Because you have to eat.
Yep.
You don't have to smoke to live.
Nope.
You don't have to drink alcohol to live. You don't have to do drugs to live, but you have to eat. So you have to learn how to eat in a healthy way. And if you look everywhere, everyone's got different opinions on what healthy is. I went on TikTok and there was this nutritionist who was an intuitive eater. And I love the concept. It's eat when you're hungry and eat what you want and enjoy the food. But
mindfully, it's like another way of calling it mindfully.
I can't do that shit.
I had to stop following her because it started really triggering me bad because she was eating every time she did a video to show that you should be able to eat. She was thin. And I was like, oh my God, I only eat when I'm hungry, but I have a hard time eating because I feel very out of control when I eat. So I try to only eat when I'm hungry. And then I try tricks like, throwing half of it in the garbage so that I won't eat half of it, or chewing gum immediately, or just not eating at all. But I have this two things. One, when I was pregnant, I was underweight when I got pregnant. So I had to gain that weight plus baby weight. My boobs were huge. Like I had to put ice packs underneath them every day because they hurt so bad. The nursing bra that I had literally broke because they were so heavy. I think I was like an H or an I or something like that. I had to buy them on the internet, and I was only, I'm only like 34 across. So it was really hard.
You're short and tiny. She's tiny and short, y'all. Like that's
I'm 5'2". But so when I had my son and they're wheeling me from the birthing room to now my room, we passed a scale. What do you think I did? As soon as they put me in my room and walked away, I got out of bed and walked over to the scale down the hall to see how much weight I lost by delivering a baby.
Yep. I would have done the same fucking thing.
Yeah. I was just like, I need to see where, because I knew, but I didn't know that you leave the hospital wearing the same freaking pants you came in.
Yep.
You're not back to your size. But the other thing is, when my husband passed away, I now, between now and then, I have this thing in my head that I try to tell myself, we're going to die. That one piece of cake, enjoy it.
Mhm.
Because if you were to die not having it, so just watch what you eat. And if that's the thing that you want, have it. So sorry,
You're good.
guys.
I often have the same thoughts of like, of this back and forth of like, it's all about how you look and being happy with yourself versus it's all about being happy in your life and like eating what you like and not obsessing over things that in the end you can't take with you. We're all going to age, we're all going to die, we're all going to whatever. Some of us might get sick, some of us whatever, like, and so to obsess over this like body image stuff that we're in the end not going to be able to control anyway. Is like I always try to tell myself that's just a waste of life. That's just like a waste of enjoying the good things in life. And then on the other end, I'm like, but I'm not enjoying life because I don't like myself.
I'm gonna die, but my pants don't fit.
Right. In this life. This life is not the life I want. I want the life where I can fit in the pants that I want to wear and wear.
I just want my clothes to fit. I have worn the same pants for 10 or 15 years. I don't want to buy new pants. I don't want to buy new clothes. I don't care if they're out of fashion. I don't want to buy new clothes right now because I don't want to buy a bigger size.
I just bought, I did like the Amazon try before you buy thing. So I bought 2 pairs of jeans, right? One was size 9 and one was size 11. And I tried on the size 9 first, hoping that I would be happy about that. Nah, bitch. You don't fit.
So here's the confusing
but I can fit in a size 8 in other places. Yeah.
But I've seen pictures of you. You are so small.
Yeah,
like
I used to
so like thin.
She's also 5'8".
9,
so the way
5'9".
5'9". So I'm 5'2", you're 5'4". And when we talk about weight, now you've got 5'8". So you're allowed to wear 5'9". I'm sorry, 5'9". I don't know why I keep saying 5'8". 5'9". So you're like,
oh, hi.
So you're, saying size 9. Like there was a girl on TikTok who said, this is what 200 pounds look like. And she looks fucking good. And people are like, you're not 200 pounds. You're not 200 pounds. And she's like, I am.
It's like 6 feet fucking tall. That's what she is. Anyway, 6 feet
it's
tall.
Like, that's the other thing. It's like, if I weigh the same as someone that's 5'9", it's going to look very different.
I have a story.
Yeah.
I have a story if you want about this bullshit height thing. So when I've always been 5'9". Like I shot up in like middle school. I'm tall. I've been since 6th grade, Jolly Green Giant. I was taller than all the boys, whatever. So like, but when after I hit puberty, I got chunky, and then I was like on birth control and I got like chunkier, and like there was like a chunky period of my life. Well, my dad, love you, Dad, if you ever listen to this, but my dad, was concerned that I was gaining weight, and I was miserable with the fact that I was gaining weight. Like I didn't like wearing swimsuits anymore. I was really self-conscious about all the weight I'd gained. So the woman he was dating at the time, who turned out to be quite the sociopath, took me to the doctor when I was 15 years old to get my thyroid checked to make sure like there was nothing wrong with me in my weight. So like I already was self-conscious, right? And then I'm like getting taken to the doctor to just check my thyroid to make sure there's like nothing fucking wrong with you, because you are. That instead of just like being like, you're fine, this is normal, or whatever, And the doctor was like, but then this fucked me up too. But then the doctor pulls out like the weight chart, right? That says like the appropriate weight or the good weight versus obese for your height. And like, I could be I was 180 pounds, right? Which was, that was fairly chunky looking for me. But it was within the normal weight for my height. And this woman that was dating my dad says, yeah, but she doesn't want to look the normal weight for her height. I will never forget that, ever. I was 15 years old. And that's what she just looked at the doctor. She's like, yeah, but she doesn't want to look the normal weight for her height.
God, I really hope the doctor says she or you.
Yeah. No, the doctor was, I think the doctor was I was only 15. The doctor was pretty fucking mortified, if I remember correctly. And then I remember she took me next door to get because I had really bad skin too. I still do, but it's cleared up now, but I had pretty bad acne too. So, and I had braces. I was not cute, y'all. Chunky braces, acne. I was that. Yeah, it was great. It was awkward puberty moment.
You glowed up.
Yeah. And so it was, so then she takes me next door to a skincare place and gets me microdermabrasion, which on active acne is very fucking painful.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah.
That
because
can cause more scars.
That's how much was wrong with me. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever recovered from internalizing the messages of just how fat and fucked up my face was.
My God. Well, and
never forget that.
The thing that's so disheartening about it all is that our society is not, it's not driven by health. It's not actually driven by mental health, physical health, financial health, relational health. It's driven by numbers.
Yep.
You're not successful unless you have 8 figures and 8 figures. Your net worth is 8 figures, and you're not healthy unless you're a size 6 or under, and 6 is pushing it. And you're not you're not young, you're not hot unless you're under 25. And
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And if you weigh this much, it takes into note. There's this woman I follow on Instagram, and I've been following her for years, and she is so hot. And I'm straight, but that woman is God.
There are women that are hot.
She is my height, and she has the same body type as I do. She's muscular, and she was really, really thin. She was I think when she started with her husband, when they first got together, she was 112 pounds, super, super tiny. She is on a mission right now to hit the 200 plus club. And this girl is literally 13-14% body fat and just ripped. Not ripped bodybuilder ripped, but she's just thick Latina ripped, big old quads, a humongous freaking ass, and no surgery. The only thing she's had surgery on is she's had her breast done. But her butt, you can see all the stretch marks from 3 years of doing squats at max capacity.
Nice.
And but it's beautiful because she wants to change the stigma surrounding size and weight and numbers and things like that. But even still, then you've got people coming in and being oh my God, you weigh 195 pounds, you fat ass. Or that's too much. You look like a man, or it's just
it's so sad. Again, because I'm an idiot, because as much as I hate myself, I do things that you wouldn't think of doing. I tried out for Rams and Raiders cheerleader. Not because I like the Rams or the Raiders. I am a Dallas Cowboys fan through and through. And I was told by Dallas Cowboys football players that I should try out for Dallas Cowboys football cheerleader, but I live in California, so that didn't happen. But I decided for my self-esteem and my self-confidence, I am going to try out for Raiders cheerleader and Rams cheerleader because I don't care. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh my God, I want this so bad. It was like, I want to prove to myself that I can do this. The Rams actually had you do routines before they looked at you. The Raiders, you had to weigh yourself. And they wrote the weight down in pen. Everything else could be written in pencil, but the weight had to be written in pen. And
Why?
then
What the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah. And then you stood and they had like the judges and you walked up on this ramp thing and they're looking up. And it was like a beauty contest. You walk and then you turn around as they say how much you weigh, how tall you are, and your
Oh
weight.
my God.
And then
Are
you walk off.
serious?
And I was like, well, fuck
God.
this. I mean, I did it, but I was just like, you're going to put my weight because one, I weighed more than people thought I did. One, these babies. Two, seriously, I was not teeny tiny. People told me I should go and do it. So I apparently looked fine. But looking at the weight, it's like, well, your weight is too much. I one time was going to run an exercise class. It was a dance exercise class. And so they gave me the routine to do. I ran my own class that day. Everybody loved it. I worked really hard. After the class, they say, okay, now we have to weigh you. And I weighed 2 pounds over their max weight, height, weight.
Of course.
Didn't matter what you looked like.
Oh
It
my
was your height and your
God.
weight.
I
And
just
they
wanna
said,
vomit.
sorry. And so I
Do they
told the
still do
class-
that? I've heard they've been
Yeah.
changing some rules about this shit because of how up it's made everybody. But I don't know if they still do stuff like that.
Well,
I
the
don't
crazy,
know, but yeah.
they don't do that to fucking men. And
No.
the thing is
They
like,
did in like weight, like wrestling and stuff. They had a weight
Yeah,
thing.
but
that's
men
because
were
they have
getting
weight,
real
like,
sick.
they
That's
with wrestling
different.
you have
that's your
and fighting.
class. Yeah. Because
those
if,
are
like
classes
you
'cause
have
they're-
to fight, like you have to wrestle or fight someone who's in your class. Like
Yeah.
it has to be a fair fight. But like,
Because they don't want Biggie Smalls fighting Tupac.
Right.
I'll
They're
tell you
not the same
what.
weight class.
Right.
But it's just like, I think that's like part of the thing too. I think with women is like, a majority of it, we're just so fucking done being objectified. I am so done
Me too.
being told that like, you're not even your talents, your education, your eloquence, your worth as a woman. It matters not to us unless you weigh this much or like you wear this size of clothes or like, and the thing is like, what's so infuriating to me though, I think beyond the men doing it to us is the women who do it to us.
Yeah, because we're supposed to have each other's fucking backs.
And I feel
Women
like
are the worst.
but I feel
Women can
like
be the worst.
I feel like the most like, and I might get in trouble for saying this. I feel like the women who do those things are the ones who, in a way, have either given up on it for themselves. And so they feel like by controlling the narrative and the expectations and the qualifications for other women, it makes them feel empowered to do it because they don't qualify. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Or
Mhm.
like,
If I
don't-
can't bring myself up, I'm gonna bring you down. If I
Mhm.
can't raise myself to your level, then I'm gonna
Exactly.
bring you down. But what's really, really, really gotten way worse because of social media. I mean, they've always been doing this in advertising and stuff, but now with social media, does 99% of the influencers, not us, Heather, we're major influencers, but anyways, that's an inside thing. But anyways, they're not even what they look like because everything is so fucking filtered.
I don't know. I'm filtered right now. Y'all let me unfilter myself.
No,
I'll show
but
you right
I'm not
now.
even talking about, I'm not even talking about that, Heather. I know this girl.
We're
and I didn't know
unfiltering me, y'all.
But no, this girl that I know, a friend of my friend, and my friend was telling me, she's like, oh my God, look at what she did. Every single picture that she takes, she changes everything, face shape, eye shape, arm length, color.
Well, not all of that, but I filter all my
everything.
shit.
Nip
I am
duration.
unfiltered now. And then I'm unfiltered now, though. See all my
But
scars.
I'm not talking about a
I can't tell a
filter.
difference, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not talking about a filter like to maybe smooth out your skin.
Eye
Whatever.
bag.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally changing.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have they showed the Kardashians?
Jody, I have
wearing the
literally
Vitamin
changed
ripples?
the eye bags and wrinkles and acne scars and how old I am. My face is stinking.
I did a live today and someone, a troll, was like, oh, what's going on with your face? And I said, this is my face. I said, I can't help the age. I said,
Well,
but
Can
this
I
is me.
circle back to the guy that fucking called me ugly today, by the way?
That what?
The guy that called me ugly on Facebook
Oh.
today, that was making the comment about how if women don't send you pictures, it's because they think they're ugly. So you should think they're ugly too. So stop talking to him, essentially. And all the women in the comments were like, eat a dick. And he posted, he's like, I'm not going to argue with anyone in these comments. If you're talking to a dude insinuating that you like him and you can't send a person you like a picture, it's because you're ugly. Don't start talking about how an ugly bitch pictures have value. They don't.
What a fucking twat. And here's why.
And
He's
what does he
fucking
look like?
twat. Because here's the thing. Do you know what happens? It has nothing to do with ugly. And I hate that reference to ugly anyways, because you know how I feel about that word. I only ever use that word in reference to the status of someone's heart.
Yeah.
But like the thing of it is if men ask me for pictures, I'm like, go to my fucking Instagram. There's plenty of pictures on there. Go to my fucking Facebook. Like, go to my fucking TikTok and pause the video where you like it and then take a goddamn screenshot. The thing is like I don't owe you a personalized fucking photograph of me. You just want me to take a specific personalized photo for you because you think that you're owed it because you think you're
Here's the personalized photo.
For real, like fuck off. I don't owe you anything. And the fact that you have the audacity to like be talking to me and you think I owe you a fucking photo, are you out of your mind? No, I don't. Like the fact that you ask me for a photo and you're not trying to get to know me first. How about this, fucker? If you ask me for a photo and you're not trying to get to know me first, you're a fucking narcissist.
Yep. That guy, for sure, I was just like raging. That's why my response was okay, because I just gray rocked that shit. I was like,
I hate that shit sends me off.
Guys, I can't.
That shit
it's funny too, because you go on dating sites and I see so many times it's like the guy's picture, they're wearing sunglasses and a cap, or they're way over there and the picture's blurry.
Right.
Keep going.
Where did Ashley go?
I was like,
but they're way over there and they're blurry and you're like, dude, what the fuck?
And the thing, yeah, and that's an excellent point because y'all motherfuckers are showing up here wearing a baseball cap with sunglasses because you're balding and like you're high as fuck in your pictures, so you got your eyes covered and you're like looking down like this and you're like off to the side and angled and then you want a fucking full yes, exactly. And you want a fucking picture from me, like fuck you, bro.
Right.
I just like using that word ugly. I know so many people that are average looking, that are super attractive because they are the best people. Oh my God, you talk to them and their personality just, I mean,
magnetic.
I think that's might sound weird, but I think that's me. I think I'm okay looking, but I think my personality, because
White
I
wines
know
matter.
like,
White
White
wines
lines matter.
Personality.
but I think it, because like I would be at work when I worked in the prison, and I would like walk up to officers talking that I didn't know, and I walk up and be like, what are we talking about today? And like, oh, hey, you know, and so I made friends with people because I was just like,
But that's
I'm me,
magnetic.
I'm
That's
crazy.
attractive.
you know,
And there are men out there that think that is more attractive than appearance. Like
yeah,
we were talking earlier about how we are all like, yeah, men like aesthetic more than anything. But then there are men out there that I've seen that are like, actually, no, like I'm attracted to confidence. Like what you think
Yes.
we think is good looking is not necessary. Like everyone's got a different kind of taste and a different kind of flavor that they're into. Like some people like rail skinny flat ass bitches like me, right? And then some people like, you know, a lot of people like girls with booty.
Like
I
the
don't
big
have
Whale
booty.
that.
bottoms. Whale
You
bottoms.
know,
Whale
and so like
bottoms.
men have taste too, just like we have taste. And they're like, so a lot of them are like, what's really attractive is that you just have the confidence in yourself, right? Like they're attracted to your confidence, and they're attracted to your personality, and they're attracted to your sense of humor. And they're I haven't been in a lot of healthy relationships here also. You'll just have to help me out on the rest. But like that, you know, there are men out there I've heard that are
But you
are
know,
not
it's
attracted.
easier, at least for me, to meet
Mhm.
people in person. Like
Yes.
online, I am so not photogenic. And part of the reason I'm not photogenic is because I'm like, picture, I'm not photogenic. You know, it's like all of a
That's
sudden-
why I'm fucking filtered. I'm like, I'm gonna modify all my pictures. I've never been photogenic. And now that I have the ability to make myself photogenic, I'm going to fucking do it, whether you like it or not. I'm gonna put a
Absolutely.
filter on that shit.
there was a TV show called the Earl Show or something, whatever, where no matter what, every picture that he took was no matter what. I mean, they would show them all looking fine, and he always went right when the camera went off. So every single picture was bad of his. And that's what I feel like. I'll be like, and my pictures all turn out like, what the fuck is going on with me? What happened? So I don't like taking pictures. So I'm so much easier with meeting people in person, because that's where your personality can shine. And I have met guys that are just fucking drop dead gorgeous, but they know it, and they are pieces of shit.
They have no personality.
And
They just
their
have no
looks,
personality.
yeah, and their looks dive bomb. Like, no, your looks will
Seriously.
only carry you. And I know guys who feel this way too. Yes, we are all attracted to looks because it's the first thing we see. So
On dating
not
apps, yeah, if you're doing that shit, you're like, I'm only gonna swipe
But
on the
I
person
mean,
who
in
looks good.
general, when you go out, an attractive person for you, whatever attracts you, we all have our flavor, catches your eye. It just
Right.
does. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're drop dead gorgeous, but someone that's attractive for whatever reason to you catches your eye first. It's not usually, oh, I'm hearing something that sounds really good. It's usually, oh, that person looks pretty okay.
Do you
But
have
you know what's
tattoos? Do you have an
crazy about-
inmate jumpsuit on? I'm all about that.
But you know what's crazy about that shit though? Like, I want to touch on this point for a second. What's crazy about that shit is that there is a very specific stigma attached to what kind of person attractive people are, because of what Hollywood and like society has done to us. We love beautiful people, but we automatically assume they're assholes. We automatically assume, oh, they're too good for me. They're going to demand perfection. Like they're going to be narcissistic and controlling. Like they're gonna, like, they probably have money. And like, we have these like expectations of very like any type of attractive person. Well, she must be a bitch. She's got to be a fucking bitch. Like she's probably like,
Dude, I felt that about you, Ashley. I am so kidding. I am just kidding.
Actually,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I get
Just
that.
kidding.
Everyone's like, damn, she's a bitch. Yeah, Richie, bitch face.
But, that's so true because I've had people when I was in high school. I remember in high school, there was a guy that sat behind me that was, oh my God, fucking cute. And then there was another guy that I was friendly with. Well, after I graduated, I saw in my yearbook, the guy that sat behind me said, hey, maybe we should go to the beach sometime, and left his phone number. And I went, oh, he's punking me. I know he's punking me. I'm sure he's punking me. And I never called him. Fucking wish I would have. And then the other guy later, like a couple of years after high school, he gave me, for some reason, we ended up in the car together. I gave him a ride somewhere. He gave me a ride. I can't even remember, but we were talking about high school. And I said, yeah, we were talking about people we knew in high school. He goes, yeah. He goes, you were always so popular. And I was so afraid to talk to you. And I'm like,
Me?
I'm like,
I get that too. I'm like, what?
Popular.
Like,
You were
I was
popular.
so into you. I'm like,
yeah, I sat back and I guess people thought that was being stuck up and standoffish. I'm like, I'm the fucking nicest person when I want to be. When I don't want to be, I'm not. But and it was like, wow, dude, I got the totally different impression. I thought you were the one that was like really popular. He's like, I was afraid to talk to you. I'm like, fuck, I want to go back to high school and redo it. And
no, you
no,
couldn't
but I
pay
mean,
me
talk
to
to those
redo
people.
any of that shit. I don't care. I
want to call that guy. I want
I'm
to
not
see if his
taking
number
it.
still works.
I understand that though, Jody, because if knowing what I know now, I would love to go back to middle school or high school and just take all of my knowledge and just go back, because it's sad to think of how much my insecurities dictated everything in my life, even my ability to sit and learn and enjoy my learning and like my
But
education.
you know what? That stuff developed you too. Like some of that develops our identity because we're trying to figure out who we are in the world. It sucks that people are fucking mean to each other and they bully each other, and we've got all these standards that are unrealistic and it's all garbage. And then there's another portion of like middle school and high school that's really like formative in a good way, where if we had all the wisdom and knowledge back then, I swear to God, I still wouldn't stay. I wouldn't stay in that fucking mess with all those people who don't have that knowledge and wisdom. I'd be like, get out of my face, you fucking weirdos.
I think though,
no
for
way.
me though, is like I was so self-obsessed and like so self-involved and so self-consumed with my insecurities.
Yeah.
My insecurities were like, I was always discounting and disqualifying myself. So like I had the deepest desires to go and try things, like be in theater, like go and do sports, like go try out for these things. And I would always talk my ass out of it. And like, I want to go meet that person, or I want to go play, like, I want to go play with those kids, or like, she looks really cool. And I would talk myself out of living my life and force myself into invisibility. And like, Jesus, Lord have mercy. And like knowing like, and now knowing myself, I'm like, I'm smart. Like I'm creative. Like I can like talk, like I could have done so much shit if I wasn't so fucking self-obsessed and so damn insecure.
Yeah.
Like I wish I would have given myself a fucking shot, because I could have done anything in high school. It's sad.
I feel like everybody will agree with you. I feel like that is such a normal stage of development for everybody, that 95 to 99% of people looking back right now on middle school and high school are like, yeah, me too, girl. like if I knew what I knew now, I would have done this, I would have done that. But the reality is that's not how human development goes. And it's just, by the time we do have the wisdom and knowledge, that's when we have to, the nice thing and the difference between being kind of self-obsessed now, obsessed with what we look like, obsessed, and the difference between that and like toxic narcissistic fucking people who are self-obsessed and self-absorbed and need constant like external validation. The difference is that we actually have the wisdom and self-awareness now to do something differently or heal some of that stuff, where those people ended up going through these really backwards ass stages of human development and turned into total monsters. So I don't want to go back and risk going in the wrong direction. I was traumatized in middle school. I thought high school was horrible. I spent half of it in juvie or in mental health centers. It was a horrible, traumatic experience. I would never repeat it. But if I had to, I would do it exactly the same way, like without the wisdom and knowledge I have now, because that for me made me this person today, where I don't really regret all of the decisions that I made, even the shitty ones back then. I don't really regret all of the like mistakes and people that I ran into, because honest to God, I wouldn't know the two of you. I don't want to risk losing the shit that I've gained from the shit that I experienced to go back and repeat that fucking bullshit. I just, with knowledge and
I appreciate that. My thing is, I wish that I had the self-confidence that I portrayed that I had. Because I fucking portrayed self-confidence big time. I mean, some of the things that I did, I really loved, and I could have gone farther had I had actual self-confidence, if that makes sense.
Well, but would you say that's duality though? Because if you truly didn't possess that confidence, would you have done those things in the first place?
No, but here's the thing. What I mean by the self-confidence that I portrayed, like going out there and trying out for cheerleader.
But damn, Jody, I would have never done that. I wanted to do cheerleading, but I never did. So for me, I'm like, there has to be a space of you that is fucking hella confident, because
yes, but where it's not, this is where it's not. I knew what held me back from being confident in everything that I do is I don't look okay. I'm
fair.
too fat. I'm
fair.
too, my upper arms, my upper thighs.
Me too.
That is what, so my confidence goes to here, where if I wasn't so fucking self-conscious of my appearance, like when I went and tried out, I knew I wasn't going to, because of my weight and my body. Now,
God,
whether
that's
it was
so
real
infuriating
or rational or not, that's how I felt. So it's like, if you're walking up on this platform thinking my weight is fucking in ink, you know?
Right. We wish we had the self-confidence back then, Jody, but we don't even fucking have it now. So for us to say, I wish I had all the knowledge and wisdom that I have now to go back and fucking redo that with the self-confidence, we don't even fucking have it now. I'm not gonna go back to fucking high school and actually stay in theater, because I already know the competitiveness of that fucking shit, and that it will break me down again. And it took me too long to heal from that shit, and I'm not going back. Like, I still don't believe you two that you would go back with who you are and what you know now and do it again and think that it would be different, because the reality is we don't have the self-confidence still to go back and do those things. And that's what makes us different than really fucking awful toxic people. Like I was saying, is that we now as adults have the ability though to heal that and still make the best out of our lives going forward. Whereas some fucking people will always be toxic and toxic, terrible to themselves, shame driven, narcissistic human beings will always be that. And the lack of self-confidence and shame that we had growing up is a different kind of shame, right? It's a different kind of self-loathing, but we can change that as adults now, because we do have a little bit of knowledge and wisdom. But I don't buy that we have the self-confidence to go back and do that bullshit over again. I still don't buy it. Maybe that's me being controversial, because red wine don't matter. But like, I'm just saying,
red wine matters too.
It
I
does
wish I
matter.
could go back with what I know now. It's like,
all
no, you wouldn't.
wines
fucking
matter.
I wouldn't fucking do it. No fucking way am I going back to that shithole. no fucking way. It was torture, it was trauma, and I'm not doing it again. Not even with the wisdom and knowledge, because I still don't have the self-confidence to go through that fucking shit ever again. No way. I have like, I've been working really hard to have enough self-confidence to even do a podcast or be a therapist or be who I am in the world in general is hard enough for me to go back to a place where people are fucking awful to one another, not to mention are shooting each other's shit up now.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I no fucking way would I do it in this day and age.
But
even if it
talking
was
about
before that.
social media and stuff, the thing is
That's high
that,
school too.
you know, how is
Feels
that
like it for sure.
but
For
how is
sure.
that affecting like the self-confidence of people now? Because now there's social media. And again, when I was bullied in 7th grade, it was right at my school. That's it. That's all. You know, and then because I live close to the school, whatever, you go to school with people around your neighborhood, like went to McDonald's and there was a girl there that I knew, whatever. But now it's all over the place and people are not afraid to say whatever the fuck they want to say.
Yeah,
So-
I can't imagine going to school now.
No
I can't
way.
imagine what high school is gonna be like for my daughter when she's in high school. Fuck. It's in like
Whole different
7,
world.
8 years, 10 years. She's 8 right now. Like, oh my God, we had it so good, ladies. Like truly, as fucked up as it was, we had it so good because we didn't have social media. The
Yeah.
internet was all pixelated and it was just Pac-Man and like Oregon Trail.
Oregon
and,
Trail.
Like that's
Listen,
what
Terry.
it fucking was. And I didn't even get that shit. And Facebook, I think Facebook came out when I was a senior in high school. And like,
Oh, that was way after I graduated.
you know, like,
Yeah, we didn't even have Oregon Trail or computers when I was in high school.
Right. I was like,
Got 'em
we
in
had like
college.
we learned how to type on a computer, and then we didn't really have computers in high school. I didn't have computers till I went to college 6 years after I graduated.
oh man,
high
you had
school.
it even better than me. But like, we didn't have any of this shit. We didn't even have really like cell phones. Like,
I didn't have a cell phone until I was 21 years old. There were kids walking around with cell phones. Right?
yeah, like
I
it was
had-
good, man.
I got my own phone at 13
I was
because we were
15.
allowed to get a phone at 13. And I remember my phone would ring when I was in a fight with a friend. My phone would ring and you pick it up and there's no one on the other end, or they hang up really quick. And it's like, you know, it's your friend, you know, but that's how you guys would create.
We had
calls.
pagers, like we were all drug dealers. We all had pagers in high school. We
Oh,
didn't have-
God. I had this little beeper with my answer machine that you can go to a pay phone or any phone and you just beep the beeper in there and it plays back your messages, because
Yep.
it was so cool, because now you can at least while you're out get your messages. You didn't have to wait till you got home.
Right?
So that was
Ah.
like,
I remember when I
Yeah.
was in college and and I literally spent my student loan tuition to get a BlackBerry.
okay, can I tell you, when I got
BlackBerry.
an answering machine, I used to record messages all the time, new messages. And I would take like the haunted house album and there was like a cat going, "Rah!" And I'm like, I can't get to the phone because I'm washing my cat. And then there would be like a dog.
Crazy cat down, and you're like, hey.
Yeah, I would
Hello?
do different
Hello?
ones all the time. Like, I can't come to the phone because there's a pack of wolves chasing me. And I thought those were the most clever fucking answer machine things ever.
Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where George has his like answering machine message, like, believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
Oh my God, it was so good though. It was so like, God, it was so good back then. I feel like, I wonder though if every generation says that, like when they look back at their childhood and they're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm so glad I'm not a child in this day and age. And
Yeah.
like, I have worked my motherfucking ass off to preserve the innocence of my fucking child. Do you know this girl? She's never had an elf on the shelf. She's 8 years old. She's been begging me for 6 years to get an elf on the shelf.
We're Jewish, so my son's never had one.
I don't even know
I
how
want
these
one, but
bastards, I don't even know how these bastards work, right? So like I've refused to get an elf on a shelf. We're at freaking Hobby Lobby tonight and she sees this little elf and she goes, "Oh, mama, please. It's an elf on a shelf." And I'm like, "No, that's not the elf on the shelf." And she goes, "It can be." She goes, "Sometimes Santa sends us our elves in the stores." And listen, I have people on
And
that
their hot
last
chocolate
post
breaks.
and the hot chocolate breaking. And like, I have people on my last post of that horror game with the rainbow friends, and they've got their 5 and 6-year-olds watching that shit. And like, they're like, "Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother my 5 or 6-year-old." I'm like, "Do you have any idea what they're doing to their mental health by having them play this shit?" Like, we could do an entire fucking podcast
on
on
that.
what we're subjecting our children to and the way that we're desensitizing them, and how the fuck is that going to show up when they're 13 to 15 in fucking high school?
Okay, what about the fucking toddlers and tiaras?
Jesus,
about
Lord
the
have mercy.
40-year-old looking 4-year-olds.
No, I mean, I've had people approach me about my daughter doing modeling and acting, and I'm like, "Fuck no, get the fuck away from me." I
No,
don't
that's a
care.
whole different
I don't
world,
care
yeah.
how much money. I don't give I will live in a fucking cardboard box with my kid. Like,
And yeah,
no.
and bringing it back to eating disorder issues, something like that.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, unless
I'll
you
do
have
it.
a really good metabolism where it don't matter, you're starting out young on the fucking pageant
Hell no.
circuit. When I was pregnant, I wanted a mini me. I wanted a little girl because I know nothing about boys. And I knew I was going to be a single mom and his dad was not going to be helpful. So when I found out I had a boy, though, I was thrilled. I was overjoyed. I wouldn't change it for the world. But the biggest thrill was the fact that I was terrified if I had a girl, that my food, body, eating issues, how do I keep it from happening to her?
Oh my
Now,
God.
Yeah, I chose not to have children for a number of reasons. That one's included.
yeah, now I have, my son is like 6'1" and weighs like about 120 pounds. He eats like a beast. And I'm
Yeah, you're
really
saying that.
grateful because my son eats whenever he wants, whatever he wants. He don't care. We're
Well,
at
he's got
Walmart,
the
he's like,
metabolism of just, damn it, you guys. Can you share
It's
some
not
metabolism with the rest
fair.
of us?
You know what?
I
They
mean-
don't even care anyways. They should give us their metabolisms. I think
Right.
it's such
Men
a
aren't even
curse.
listening to this podcast today. They're just like, this is for
we're
y'all.
tuned out.
That's like been the hardest part. Like what you're saying,
Yes.
Jody, that's the hardest part of raising my daughter because I cannot. I am so I am on my ass about that shit. Like not saying I need to lose weight, not saying about my calories, like because my daughter, she loves her body. And listen, she grows like this, boom, and then boom. So she gets
Oh,
real,
All kids do.
she gets
Yeah.
real chubby and I freaking love it. She gets a little
Yeah.
belly. And the other day she's standing in the mirror. She goes, "Mama, I love my body." And I
Yes.
like, I could cry just saying that. Like just saying that, I could
I
bawl
hope
my
that
eyes out
stays.
because she's got a little belly and I love it. And like,
The first kid that fucks that up for her, I'm punching in the face.
I'm telling you. And like, that's the thing though.
Eventually, we all get fucked up with it.
For a majority of us, we've inherited our mother's eating disorders.
I
We've
didn't.
inherited
My mom was not like that with me.
my
Thank God.
my mom was she was called in high school. My mom was called the bod.
Yeah. No, my dad and his toxic girlfriend at the time were, and they fucked me up. My mom
Oh.
didn't, thank God.
My
But
mom,
My mom was
like,
thin. My mom used to eat nonpareils every night. Nonpareils are chocolate. They're called snow caps, I guess, at the movie
oh, they're
theater.
so good.
But they're called. And I used to think, so fucking stupid. I used to think, wow, when you get older, you can eat chocolate and be fine. I can't wait to be older.
Mhm.
Well, thanks, Mom. You fucked me up because I can't eat chocolate and be fine like you could. No, but I literally thought, because my mom was fine. My mom was normal. My mom was thin. And so I thought, I can't eat it now, but when I get older, it won't have any effect on me because it doesn't have any effect on my mom.
No, my mom
Yay.
was literally called the bod. She was in track and field. She's big, big chest. She's four. So you think you're short, Jody. My mom's 4'10" and a half. Okay.
Oh,
She's
she's
tiny.
little.
And she's like a G. Okay. This woman is all boobs and she's Latina, right? And like, but she ran track and field too.
Wow.
I don't know how she did that with those things.
Because I used to run and I had to tape everything.
She did. She was
Cuts
like
and bruises and scratches. It was
Yeah,
not-
like
I've never had that
three-
problem.
3 sports bras, but
I wish I did.
Yeah.
she was
I used
called
to get cuts deep
Yeah.
into my shoulders. Yeah.
That's what she said, like her back and stuff. But she would run track and field and she was just like the perfection, proportionate. And then she got pregnant with me. And then I fucked all that up.
I was
for
just
her.
gonna say, did you fuck that
Like,
up?
because she was so
man,
sure
and
she
no
had
wonder she's such
she
a
hates me. She hates me. But
but
she
she
had to have
doesn't
a
blame your brother. She just
No.
blames you.
But that's the thing is like, and my mom, I spent my entire childhood watching my mom try and lose weight and talking about
Oh.
food and how much she
Yeah.
hated her body and her stomach. And like,
That'll do it.
she would never like, she'd never walk around like naked when I was like 2, 3, like she wouldn't like love her body. She just was always hiding herself and covering herself up and like talking about how she had to lose weight. So I was like, oh my God. And
Yep.
I
I
feel
don't
like that's the
remember my
majority
mom-
for us.
My mom
For eating
never, I
disorders,
don't
yeah.
remember my mom like that. I remember my dad used to call me his little butterball. Not to be mean. He really wasn't trying to be mean. He would call me his little butterball. And I look back and I think, oh, Dad, I don't think you realize that scarred me. I don't even think I realized that scarred me until I got into middle school. And then once I hit puberty and it was all about weight, and that's when I stopped eating. They used to make these things called, I want to say they were called figurines. They were these weight loss wafers. And I would eat like one throughout the day. I'd keep them in my room. And then I bought my own food. I'd buy cottage cheese and yogurt because those were supposedly the things that you lost weight. And I would buy macadamia nuts because I lived in Hawaii for a little bit and I would go back and forth. And I would eat one a day. And I didn't even tell my parents about it. And I don't think anybody really ever knew until I moved out and I met my husband and I told him. And I also don't think anybody really, again, I don't think people believed me because I was always kind of average, normal, whatever, I guess. And then I lost when my husband died. Well, he and I would work out. I don't even want to say what size I wear because then people would be like, you're stupid, but it doesn't matter what size I wear or wore. But so my husband and I would work out together and everything. And, I was decent weight. I was thin, but when he died, I just lost spirit. I lost everything. I lost a lot of weight and people were calling me a bobblehead because I was so thin. And then my head was brown. And then after I had my son, I walked all over the hills and we have hills. I live in the foothills. So I would push him in a stroller and we do all our shopping 10 miles every day, whatever. And when he got too big for the stroller, I pulled him in a wagon. So I lost so much weight so fast. And I was literally, people were telling me, like at work, this guy, I remember him saying to me, you look like you could sit and eat bonbons and never gain weight. I'm like, oh, you have no idea. And this one girl, we were talking about weight. And I said, I struggle every day. And she goes, oh, with putting weight on? I'm like, oh my God, no, with keeping weight off. So nobody ever thought. And even now, my friends will be like, you look fine. It's like, I may look fine, but my clothes are tight. My clothes were never tight. And it bothers me. And they're like, but you work out all the time and you don't eat. I'm like, but I'm not okay. I'm not fine. Like, but you look fine. It's like, don't fucking tell me I look fine. And then they'll say, well, maybe it's your thyroid. Maybe it's your thyroid because maybe you work out too much. Maybe you work out too much. Maybe you eat too little. And it's like, just shut up.
Listening to you too, I was never diagnosed with an eating disorder, although I've definitely had disordered eating behaviors and things like that throughout my life. But I'm not like, I have a basic training as far as eating disorders as a therapist, but it's not my specialization by any means. Even when I was looking into it, I decided to go into criminal justice and work with very, very, very difficult clients. But I like when I listen to that and my basic knowledge of this, maybe Jody, you can elaborate on this a little bit. Eating disorders to me seem like a family disease. Like to heal from an eating disorder would require, especially for young women, fucking family therapy because of how generational it seems. Not like the eating, like Ashley, it sounds like your mom probably struggled with eating disorder stuff, but there's like a control element in families where it seems like children need to feel like they can gain control by gaining control over the thing that they can control, which is their eating stuff. And so, and that's sort of like my baseline knowledge of eating disorders as a therapist. And then beyond that, like, don't ask me to treat it, but like,
Well, you know what?
I feel like it's a fucking family, not just a societal issue and
Yeah.
shitty messages, but a family disorder too.
I think it depends because I started out as a weight loss counselor, and that got me into psychology because I'm like, all my clients were losing weight, but I was not selling the product because I was just working with them on weight loss. So I'm like, I need to do this. I need to go and get and get into psychology. I changed my major from pre-med to psychology. But I think, because I know like I said, my family didn't even know. My family, I don't remember my mom ever having food issues or talking about food issues. But I think a lot of it, depending on what the issue is, like anorexia and control, absolutely. But I think nowadays with social media, I think it just takes certain things, like with Naya. I think it would take one person, maybe when she hits puberty, to say, you have a fat belly.
They
And
did do
then
that to her once. And I went and stood in front of the mirror naked with her and let my belly hang out. And I said, I love my belly. And I showed her my C-section scar. And I could cry about that moment right now because that took everything I had in me to like say like this, it's not about the way your body looks, but it's about what your body has carried you through and like what it does for you. Because one little girl did say that tonight, because before she really got into dance, she was kind of like, little girls, they stand and they push their belly out and they like kind of like look like little, like, they have this little round pot belly. They all do that. They all do that. And one little girl told her that and then told her to stand with her belly against the wall so that she could measure how far it was. This was when she was in fucking preschool. But yeah, and
that girl's probably got a mom who has some
and that's what I told Naya. And then Naya was, I think, because she's a late birthday. And so I did something, I don't know if you guys will agree with this, but I went and showed her what happens when you're either feel like you're need to starve yourself. And I showed her like women who've starved themselves and what they look like. And then I've showed her women that eat too much and what that does to you. Like I showed her, looked at women that look like people that weighed like 700 pounds. And then I went and showed her kids her age that are basically dying of starvation and what they look like. And like ever since then, Naya's been very much all about like health and the energy I feel. But that's the fucking worst of it is it takes one person saying some fucking stupid to completely destroy everything that you feel about yourself and your body.
And that's why I think a lot of anorexia is about control. You'll see anorexics that come from very bad households, maybe fighting, maybe narcissistic parents, maybe borderlines, whatever, because that is about control, starts out about control. But body dysmorphia, and I know with anorexia, body dysmorphia too, but I'm not talking about extreme like you saw in the hospital and stuff. I'm talking about the I don't even know how to phrase it. Common folks like you and me.
It looks like in the DS, and like the old DSM, they call it atypical anorexia or bulimia nervosa of low frequency and
now-
limited duration. Like this, like the more socially acceptable eating
Yeah.
disorders.
But now there's a lot more eating disorders in the DSM. Like now there is actually a purge disorder without binging and stuff like that. I think with society and social media, it doesn't matter your family unit.
Yeah.
Because I know, like with me, all it took was peers and
Yeah.
then
That's
going
too
into
much.
the industry to say what's going on. Like even if
Or
my
watching a show or coming across a
Yeah.
anorexia
and
fucking
even
website.
if my family was like the most body positive in the world, hearing it out in the world, that's what starts affecting you. Like I love when I was sick and I was in bed and I had the TV on, I kept seeing commercials for Lizzo's I think it's HBO that she has a special, and she goes,
Love her.
you know, no one expected a fat black rapper who can play the flute. And I just, part of me wonders, do you really love yourself that much? I hope you do. Or are you?
Culturally, Black women tend to really fucking love themselves, and I love that about them.
I really
envy
hope
that.
that she is as body positive, because I love that.
I love
so
that
much.
too, and I want
more
that.
power
My
to
God.
her.
I just
where-
want to like, and if you ask me, what do you want more? Do you want the body of your dreams, or do you just want to love your body?
I just want to love my body.
I just want to
wanna
love my
it.
body, man. And like that was one of the reasons why like I stopped counting calories and I stopped like exercising as much. And I was like, you're not going to shame yourself into self-love. You're
Yeah.
not going to hate your
Don't work that
body into body confidence. You're not going to punish yourself into health. And like, and I got to tell you, that was a risky fucking move. And like, to be honest with you, almost every day I regret it, because I gained about 15 pounds. And like, especially after COVID, that shit sucked. Like I stopped hooping, I stopped doing all the things.
We
And
all
I
got,
said,
yeah.
no, God damn it. If
We all
you're
got
going to tell yourself that you're not worthy of loving yourself and you're not beautiful unless you weigh less than 150 pounds, because my body really is muscular. And if I drop below 150, I start to look sickly with my legs and stuff. But like, I was like, no, if you can't love yourself right now, then you're going to hate yourself even more when you're 128, because I hated myself when I was 128. I hated myself, and I was a size 0. And like, I still thought I was a cow. I still thought like I was ugly and fat, because then I was crucifying myself for my loose skin, and it still wasn't fucking good enough.
Right.
Like, I
Even
just
when I was
wanna
really
love
skinny, I
myself.
had acne scars, and yeah, my hair was totally thinning and falling out because I was so skinny. Like there's all these imperfections that I can pick out all the time. It doesn't matter, like if it's not my weight, it's my skin. If it's not my skin, it's something else. If it's my teeth, you know, like I'm constantly obsessing over one feature or another of mine that isn't good enough. And that message, and maybe we should sort of, I know we're probably coming up on the time, so maybe we should try to end this by like normalizing that this is like what women fucking go through, and some men too, but like, and also like we can live like really happy and healthy lives and overcome this shit. I don't know. We need to come up with a positive way to end this podcast today, because it's like, I don't want people to walk away obsessing over all of their.
I want to say 2 things. One is that Victoria's Secret song. I put together a video about the Victoria's Secret, and I took all these pictures from being a kid to now. And that triggered me so bad. I mean, for one, I got a violation as soon as I posted it, because I didn't realize my son was wearing a bathing suit when he was 8. It was me, my son, Captain Hook, and Mr. Smee. And we were all in our bathing suits. So I got a violation for nudity for kid, minor safety. but so it didn't post, and I worked really hard on it, and it triggered me so bad because I looked at so many of those pictures and I started crying because I'm like, I wasn't fat. I wasn't fat at all. And yet at that time, I thought I was fat. And now I look at myself and go, now fuck me, I'm fat, which I have to stop doing that. So that's the thing, is we look back. I saw a meme that said, I spent all of my skinny years thinking I was fat. So it is kind of like that, as we do, especially with body dysmorphia, we see ourselves super differently. We will never see ourselves the way that other people see us. Every day, my husband used to say, and my ex used to say, you really like yourself. You're always looking in the mirror. I have this weird habit ever since I was a kid, is I will go in the bathroom every single day, every time I'm in the bathroom, and lift up my shirt and look at what I look like. I can't stop. And my husband used to be like, why the fuck do you do that every time you go in the bathroom? I'm like, because I'm comparing in my head every time. So I still do it. I try not to do it. And I try to tell myself, and this sounds just as morbid, but not, we're all going to die. So if you want to eat that, enjoy it, eat it. Eat it now, because if you don't, you're going to think about it and think about it and think about it. And instead of eating one little piece of candy, you're going to eat the whole fucking box.
Whole fucking thing.
So just eat the candy, taste it, enjoy it, and then move on. Go brush your teeth and move on. So I am a work in progress. That
As we all are. Look at us, all licensed clinicians, still being a little in the
Not
head.
me.
That's just
Not
normal,
me.
y'all.
I'm not licensed.
That's right.
I told a client
Permission to be
this
fucked
past
up.
week- I told my client this past week, because we were talking about weight issues, because he's gay and he has major weight issues. And I said, look, so I disclosed just a little bit. I said, here's the thing. Now you're probably going, oh my God, I need a new clinician. And he's like, no, you'll never get rid of me. But I said, I love this client. But I said, you don't want a clinician who thinks that there is nothing wrong with him. You don't want a clinician that's fucking crazy. Like, you don't want to go to someone where you're going, oh shit. But you also don't want someone who literally thinks that they are perfect and cannot relate to you in any way, shape, or form. Because you want to have someone
Right.
that gets it. Like,
Amen
I
to
don't,
that.
I don't say, oh, I know what you're going through. I will say, I can totally get it. I can totally understand that you would feel that way.
You got to know
That's-
that most of us got into this profession to figure our own shit out first.
First, I still haven't figured my shit out.
We're still working on that, but that's part of what motivated us into
I
this.
kind of
So
got
most
into it,
of
so I
the
don't
therapists in
have
the
to figure
world
my shit
get it.
out.
That's what- Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to figure my shit out. I can figure everybody else's out. And that way I don't have to think about mine.
Right. No, I wanted to figure mine out and everyone else's out. I was like, I don't know what the fucking mess is going on in this world. I know I'm a mess. I know everyone else is a mess. I just need to understand it and I'll feel better. That was my way of gaining control of a very chaotic situation.
See, my thing is, if everybody else that I deal with is more of a mess than I am, I'm good.
Yeah, right. And like everybody is equal to a mess or like more of a mess. Some people are way better off than me and I feel inferior to them as their therapist. I'm like, oh, I'm like you're here. Like, but if you relate to a person, it's good. It'll be good. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're like getting off track. We need to leave people with a hopeful message.
Yes.
But I think here's the thing though, is that I think sometimes that I had a conversation with my dad yesterday. Sometimes the most hopeful message that you can give to people is that they're not alone in their struggles.
Yes.
And that the way that they're living is not, they're not the only one living this way. They're not the only one thinking this way, because sometimes we get stuck in our heads thinking that I'm the only one that struggles with this. And sometimes that's enough hope, is knowing, oh my God, there's a psychologist that struggles with eating and her weight. And then there's a therapist, and then there's this survivor, and like they like she's just gone from 250 to 128 to 150 to 175 to like all these things. And like, that's okay. Like, fuck. Or even just the message of like, the goal is not to be a size 0 or a size 4. The goal is to just love your body. Like, if I don't love my body where it's at right now, like, I'm not going to love my body when it's at where my goal weight is. Like, this is something we all struggle with.
And one thing I try really hard, I tell myself when I got COVID in 2020, I did really well with it. Thankfully, lost my sense of taste, smell, whatever. But it wasn't, knock wood, I ended up okay. And so I thank my immune system. And ever since then, I do say, I'm like, my body has been through literally 13 surgeries. I've had 3 back surgeries. I rarely get sick. And when I do, my immune system has been fucking great. So while I may not care for the outside of my body right now, the inside of my body fucking rocks. And that is what is going to keep me going. That is the most important thing, that my immune system and my body, I am healthy. And at least I can have these thoughts because I am healthy, because I'm trying to, again, remain healthy, have a healthy diet, take vitamins, work out for my mental health as well as anything. But what's inside, and I know the whole fucking adage of beauty is more, isn't just skin deep. Beauty is more than skin deep, or whatever that fucking thing is. It's seriously true. It's seriously true. And the more confidence that you have, it shows, and you glow and you shine, and that's what people see. And all of the rest, like, you become this package, this beautiful package that people are drawn to.
Yep. And I really attribute, like, the healthy people in my life are the ones who are seeing the beauty, like the truth of me, and the toxic people in my life are the ones that see my insecurities and my vulnerability and prey upon that. And so the more I work on my own self-love and loving my own body and loving my whole self, like, the less likely a toxic person is going to see the insecurities and the vulnerable stuff and prey on that. And the more healthy, awesome people I'm gonna surround myself with, that just keep feeding, like, keep hyping me up, because I'm gonna hype you 2 up forever. Deal with that.
That's,
like,
hey,
I'll take it. I'll
And
take
that's
it.
the
like,
thing.
I just want to be a hype girl for you. Y'all be hype girls for me.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like that is what's gonna bring us all of the joy in the world, and keep the fucking toxic people at bay.
Yeah.
I think we need to start spreading that. I really do. Like, even on social media, when people are fucking assholes to me in my comments, I still try to be
nice.
semi-nice, I still
Positive.
try not to be rude. I try not to be rude to people in general. And I don't, like, even my ex, when I used to look at his insecurities, and I remember posting saying his insecurities in the past, his flaws might have, like, but now I'm endeared to them, because then they make me accept my flaws as well. Now I'm like, again, just because he's an ugly person because of who he is. But, it's when you look at people and you're not looking for flaws, you're looking at them.
Yeah. And their flaws are what make you beautiful. And, like, the one thing I'd like to, like, add to this is I want to make sure that, like, every listener knows that no matter who, like, a person considers to be their idol, or who they consider to be their personification of beauty or perfect body, that person is more insecure than you are. Like, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, Kylie, like, Jenner, like, the women that are the epitome of beauty are the most insecure people in the entire world, because they can't even go out in public without feeling they need to filter themselves.
Yeah.
And like they will go and get like literally like ribs removed, and like they live inside doctors' offices to try and maintain or even like further perfect their beauty or their bodies, because they can't maintain the fountain of youth, because they're human beings and they're aging and they're changing and they've got hormones and they're going to go through menopause, and like they're more insecure than we are because they have to maintain societal standards. So like
They set them and now they have to maintain them.
they set the bar so high and now they have to
Yeah.
maintain it, and the bar that they set so high wasn't even real to begin with. So like the people that are on the pedestal, they're more insecure than any of us are
Mhm.
because they're in the public eye. So like
One of my favorite people on TikTok, Kiko or something, she's that 72-year-old lady that I showed you. Oh my God, she just freaking gets out there and rocks. And no
Yes.
makeup on, and she's 72 years old, and it's like I fucking love her. And
Yeah.
she's 72.
So maybe that's how we'll end this. There's a therapy exercise we could do that's like all about your inner self, right? Okay. And like, so everybody can participate that's listening too, but I'll do this with you and Jody, just, so pick the person that you admire the most. It could be a real person, a fake person, a cartoon character. It could be, but just a person that you admire the most. And then once you have that person in your mind, pick like the top 3 or 4 characteristics of that person that you admire. Like, what is it about that person that you really admire? So once you have like 3 or 4 characteristics in mind, then tell me who the person is and what are those characteristics that you admire about them.
do they have to be living or dead?
They could be living, they could be dead. They just have to be a person that you admire.
And do they have to be, hold on, excuse me, same sex?
No, male, female. They could be a cartoon character, rodent, Speedy Gonzalez, whatever. Like it could be anything. And then just the 3 or 4 characteristics about that person or character that you admire the most.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Is that because I'm not super religious, but I'm extremely spiritual. So if I said the person I admire the most and strive the most to like be like, I would say Jesus, and I would say love, compassion, humility, and mercy.
Okay.
Literally, that's it.
Hold that thought. Jody, who's the person you want to be like?
Honestly, this might sound really weird, but my son, because my son just lives life and loves life and does what he wants and is the sweetest, kindest, nicest, generous, he's just a great kid.
Nice.
And he don't give a fuck. Like I said to him, you really need to shave your hairs. I'll care.
I love him so much.
And I'm like, okay,
He's
we'll just trim your look
him.
a little bit. So yeah.
So the point of this exercise is to reveal your inner self. So Ashley, your inner self actually is love, compassion, humility, and mercy. That is actually you. That is yourself. Jody, you actually do love life. You do whatever the fuck you want, and you are the sweetest, kindest, most generous person.
I would totally agree with that about Joe. What about you,
I
Heather?
agree about both of you. I agree with that. That's who you actually are. That is who people see you.
Cry.
That's how people see you. That is who you actually are. That's the point of that exercise.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Wait, what about you?
I want to know. Yeah, I was just saying now yours.
I did this one. I did this a while ago, and I chose Lady Gaga because, and I think the 4 characteristics were that she's her fucking amazing fashion sense, but that she's creative, talented, and just all loving and all accepting. And did I say creative already? Creative, talented, all accepting. And then the fashion sense, obviously, I really appreciate that about her. Just like what about her, the characteristic of her fashion sense is that she does not give a fuck what like people think about what she'll just dress however she would, just wear all this crazy shit and with confidence go out and be like, fuck off, that's me. And those are the things I admire about her. Yeah.
Oh my, you know what's so beautiful? And I would agree with that about you too. The most beautiful part about all of that is not one of us said a physical
exactly
attribute.
That's why I decided to do this exercise for people, because I was like, oh, this is a really good moment for a therapy exercise.
So what I would love for people to do is, if you guys don't mind, put in the comments who your person is and why.
Yep. And just know you just described your true self. You just described who you are and how everyone sees you.
Or you can email us at WCWYW.
There you go.
WCWYW1 at Gmail. If you don't want to put it in the comments, and you can tell us, because I would love to hear, because I love that. That just like gives me chills and goosebumps, and I love it. And it kind of, it's a perfect way to end, to feel really good, because like I said, I love my son and I love everything about him. And to know that he got that probably from me.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just, it makes me feel so good. So yeah,
you actually sat up straighter in your chair.
I know I did, didn't I?
You're like,
yes, you did. You both did.
So thank you guys so much. On that note, hopefully this will be posted sooner rather than later.
It will. Not hopefully, it's happening.
Oh, this is absolutely happening. And we want to hear from you guys too. Please, in the comments or email us any wine suggestions, because remember, white wines matter too. Red wines, rosés, they're all good. Any wine suggestions, if you have like glass suggestions, if you've seen any real cool glasses on Amazon. I have an Amazon store marketplace thing, and Ashley, you have one that you're building, or you already have it up. Yes. For the ones that I bought, if you want to buy them, they're all in my Amazon store on my link tree, on my TikTok profile. I think we can add them I think we can add it. Heather, you got to get yours going, your Amazon store. And I think we can add it to our YouTube so that you guys can buy, if you like the glasses that we have or anything that we have with the podcast and other things.
Just tell me how to do that. Is it like a wish list? You just tell me how to do that. And
we'll tell you how to do it.
All right.
Tell you how. Because we're influencers, remember?
Gross. Don't ever say that again.
Hey, just because you weren't called a major social influencer and Heather and I were.
So gross. Oh, God.
We have some really good podcasts coming up that you guys are not gonna want to miss. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna want to miss them. So on that note, ladies, cheers.
Cheers. Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Got it.